Hey friends, it's Allison here, jumping in real quick before you get into all the juicy details of today's episode. Did you know there is just one more week left to our 200th episode giveaway where you have the chance to win a full ride scholarship to the Better Belly Blueprint? This is the way to heal your gut so that you can poop daily, ditch acid reflux, and balance your hormones even when nothing else has worked. Here's how you can enter. Leave a rating and review on the Better Belly podcast on Apple Podcast or Spotify between now and May 29th. Take a screenshot of that rating and review, then go to betterbellytherapies.com/giveaway and fill out our 200th episode giveaway form. You will automatically receive an email with a code for $200 off the Better Belly Blueprint, which you're going to get as soon as you send in that form. And then a full scholarship winner is going to be announced on May 30th and messaged by email. If you win, you're going to win a full scholarship to the Better Belly Blueprint. And if you don't win, you can still get $200 off, which is 20% off of the Better Belly Blueprint if you join by May 31st at midnight. So go ahead and leave a rating and review. Get that giveaway form filled out at betterbellytherapies.com/giveaway, and you can finally end your constipation, acid reflux, and PMS for good. Have you ever wondered, how long should it take me to heal my gut? Have you ever done a 40-day or 12-week gut healing program, felt a little better, but never got as healthy as you wanted? Have you ever done a food elimination diet that you were told should heal your gut, but you haven't gotten off it since? How long should it take you to heal? And if healing hasn't worked for you yet, what are you missing? I myself have wondered these exact same questions in my healing journey, and it is the same questions we hear from our clients when they begin working with us. It's a question I've had intense interest in since getting sick myself in 2015 and since starting to work with clients to heal their gut, body, and hormones. Now, after 2 years of working with clients using functional lab testing to heal their bodies, I want to share with you, me, and my team's findings on exactly how long we're seeing it takes to completely heal your gut and body. Welcome to the Better Belly podcast, where we find freedom from food restrictions, we increase energy in our lives, and we begin to feel more healthy and vibrant than ever by finding the root causes of our health problems. My name is Allison Jordan. I'm a marathon runner, functional medicine health coach, certified craniosacral therapist, gut health nerd, lover of Jesus, and owner of Better Belly Therapies, a clinic based in Ann Arbor, Michigan that works with both virtual and local clients to help them achieve the best health of their life. I am here to walk with you on your journey to a better belly and a better life. We're going to go beyond popping a probiotic and just checking out our poop. In this show, we are going to go deep into gut transformation strategies that last for your entire life. If you are ready to feel your best, get ready to roll. You are in the right place. And just as a reminder, this information is not meant to diagnose, manage, or treat disease. Always consult with your own health practitioner before you make any changes to your health. All right, so before we begin today's episode, I wanted to take a quick moment to honor the importance and value of this question that we are answering, or at least asking today. How long should it take me to heal? This is a very important question for anyone starting on a journey. How long will it take to drive from Florida to here? Or how long is this plane flight from here to London? How long will this hike take? How long will it take us to get to Mordor? If we're thinking in the case of Frodo and Sam. But these are reasonable questions to ask because this question helps us prepare for the journey in a practical way, such as how much food and water to bring, changes of clothes, shoes to wear, books to read. And this question also helps us to prepare psychologically for the journey ahead. Thinking, yes, I will be cramped in a small airplane cabin for 12 hours. Or, yes, this will be a multi-day car trip. Or, yes, my feet will hurt after this hike. Yes, I might have blisters after this. This whole question of journey and how long it's going to take and the different stages and nuances of a journey, we actually covered in a whole podcast episode, episode 54, called Health is a Hero's Journey, where we dive more into the similarities of going on a health journey with a hero's journey, such as Harry Potter or Frodo and Sam or Katniss Everdeen from the Hunger Games. And there's a lot of similarities that we can be encouraged by, such as not knowing every step of the way, needing to have a guide, and being going through times of trial and confusion where you can still ultimately get to your destination. Those are all aspects of the hero's journey. And yet, even though these heroes don't know everything, what they do know is they want to find a good guide that they can then ask, how long is this journey going to take? Unfortunately, in the health field, and especially in gut health, in my experience and in our clients' experience, often the response that we get when we ask this question of how long will it take me to heal is a shrug of the shoulders by doctors and an I don't know, or this is how you are for the rest of the life. Of your life. Unfortunately, this is not a journey. This is a life sentence, and there's not much more detail or nuance or information to that. Basically, we're learning that from their answer that there isn't much more that we can do, that there's a lot of mystery and there's not an answer. And the truth is that that's just not the case. As a student of health and of my clients, I keep close notes on how many and what type of clients are healing at what rate. What's a reasonable rate of healing to share with someone when they ask, or at least are wondering when they want or are thinking about starting our program, how long will this take? My goal as both a health practitioner and as the CEO of Better Belly Therapies is to be able to give them not just information that is found in studies or in research, but also information that we are seeing in our own clinic, because we are applying principles and strategies that are different than conventional health research centers and conventional health hospitals. So after 2 years of working with clients and doing functional lab testing, I want to share with you what me and my team recently found and why we updated our signature program, the Foundations program, to mirror what we found to be true about the time it takes to heal from gut health problems and the specific and consistent stages of healing that we're seeing in our clients. So number one, before we get into the exact timeline here, what we have found consistently for our clients when they're getting from A to Z. And as a real quick recap, when I'm saying A to Z, there's very specific goals that we have in mind at Better Belly Therapies. A is I have all my symptoms. They're very intense. The symptoms can really range. There's definitely gut health stuff going on, often bloating, constipation, diarrhea, just difficulty eating foods where it feels like you're either having increased food sensitivities or foods that used to not bother you are now bothering you. There's a lot of like fear and confusion around food. You've tried a lot of food elimination diets like the low FODMAP diet, going gluten-free. Some things have helped, some things haven't. Other symptoms we're really seeing commonly, lots of skin problems, acne, rashes, psoriasis, and depending on the client, if there is a skin problem, it can be in the scalp, around the eyes, under the armpits, on the legs, on the back. We are seeing a lot of sleep problems. We see lots of hormone problems, painful periods, irregular periods, infertility, miscarriage, lots going on there with hormones. And so, I didn't write all this down. I'm kind of riffing off of it. There's this huge cluster of symptoms. It's not just gut health. It's everything, right? It's mood, it's focus, it's memory, it's energy, fatigue, chronic fatigue, having energy in the morning, but not in the afternoon, or vice versa, or honestly, neither. Not waking up and feeling rested, not waking up and feeling like you have energy or focus. lots of pain, joint pain, muscle pain, abdominal pain, headaches and migraines, difficulty focusing in the eyes, sometimes even things like tinnitus or their ear problems. It's all interconnected. And so they come to us and there's all these symptoms. And our goal is, number one, that by the time our clients are done working with us, they have reduced food restrictions. Our goal is not to be like, hey, we're just going to tell you this same diet to do. And you're going to be on the super restricted elemental diet or low FODMAP diet or whatever diet it is for the rest of your life. Because what we do know is that when you really truly heal the gut is able to handle a wider variety of foods. And there's a reason that we can actually develop food sensitivities. We have several episodes on this, and I would highly recommend checking out the podcast episode 59, how to choose the best food sensitivity test for you, because I actually get into both different types of food sensitivity tests, but also the nature of food sensitivities and how and why you can actually heal not every kind of food sensitivity, but many kinds of food sensitivities that land our clients in a low FODMAP diet or in a low oxalate diet or in a low histamine diet, whatever diet that they're potentially on. So number one, RZ, if A is full symptoms, you can get, we don't want to just get you to G, like my symptoms have reduced by 1/3, or H, my symptoms have reduced by 2/3 or half or whatever. We want to get you to Z where you have no symptoms or extremely limited, more normal, like, oh, I randomly didn't feel super good a little bit today. But then most of your days you feel good. You have good energy. You're able to eat the foods that you can eat and feel good from it, have energy from it, have healthy weight gain or weight loss, just weight regulation in your body. And that happens when you have a fully healthy body, and then having as many wide margins as possible in food. Another goal that we really want to see is our clients are not on lots of coping mechanisms such as supplements. Supplements are specifically one of the things that sometimes our clients come in taking a lot of, or we might even we frequently do put our clients on supplements to help shuffle along, move their body quickly in a healing direction. And there's a very specific reason we're using different supplements, but you actually don't need those long term if the body heals and regulates itself to homeostasis. It just needs those supplements often short term to augment healing and to replace missing nutrients or missing digestive support or all these different things for a very specific amount of time. And by the time they're done working with us, they're not having to put lots of money or time or effort into taking supplements, finding supplements, buying supplements, as well as all the extra effort of regulating their food. And so the third thing we really want to see in our clients is that there's an ease in their health, that they're not having to work so hard. And a lot of times our clients are coming to us and they're thinking really hard about their health and they're working really hard at it. They're paying close attention to their sleep hygiene and their exercise habits and their dietary intake. And it's taking a lot of time and effort, and then they still don't feel good. So if that's you, by the way, you are exactly the client that we work with and we want to work with. I would love to work with you. And so you are not stuck where you're at if you are on these food restrictions, and if you feel like you're doing all the right things but not getting results. There are things that our clients are consistently missing, not because they are trying to miss it, but because they're not being given the tools by the conventional healthcare system or by the blog posts they're reading, etc. And so that's our A to Z, full symptoms, to not only not having symptoms consistently, but not needing coping mechanisms to maintain that status. Okay, so now that we're on the same track of what our A to Z phases are, or A to Z processes, these are the 4 phases we're seeing our clients regularly taking to get from that A to Z pathway. Number 1, the first phase is removing pathogens and inflammatory toxins. And so pathogens, if you're new to the podcast, by the way, welcome. We have a really great podcast here. Episode 55, the one and only question you need to ask to know if you have a gut pathogen. And a pathogen, as a quick reminder, is any type of bacteria, parasite, mold, fungus inside the body. Anything that is aggressive shouldn't be there. and is doing you harm. And a lot of our clients, as in, I remember one client we've tested, and we worked with over 100 clients at this point. Only one of them didn't come up with any pathogens on her testing. Didn't mean that we couldn't do anything for her. We actually she had a lot of other toxicity. And so the number one is removing pathogens and inflammatory toxins. This one client who didn't have any pathogens, she had a high amount of copper toxicity in her body. And so we found that and are currently dealing with that and addressing it. And she's feeling better. But that is why number one is removing these pathogens and inflammatory toxins. That does include food sensitivity. Some of our clients sometimes have either missed it or they're not sure if they have a food sensitivity, so they're still eating that food because they're not sure if it's correlated to their symptoms. Because as a reminder, if you go gluten-free, that doesn't get rid of a bacteria or a parasite, right? So you could go gluten-free and not see improved symptoms and then think, my problem is not gluten. Well, gluten actually might not be doing you any favors and it might even be harming you. But the question is it going to completely heal you if you have H. pylori or a parasite like Blastocystis hominis? By no means. You're still going to feel gross because you still have a pathogen. We look at heavy metals. We look at chemicals that can be in the air, water, food, plastic, cleaning products, hygiene products. And we also want to increase detoxification pathways in this section. So helping our clients make sure that they're pooping regularly, that they're getting lymph moving, that they are able to sweat, that their liver function is as top-notch as possible. And we can't force this. So one thing we found about this specific phase is it takes about 3 months on average to address the pathogen. Once the pathogens are gone or starting to be gone, people almost immediately start to feel better. On average, our clients start to notice an improvement in their symptoms in 3 to 7 days, and that there is a 50 to 80% improvement in their top 5 symptoms in the first 3 months of working with us, because we get rid of these pathogens and extra toxin and inflammatory burdens like a food sensitivity they didn't know about to blueberries or something. And that just helps the body have fewer things it has to deal with as it's aiming to heal, because the body is a self-healing mechanism. Our goal and our job is to just help get things out of the way so it can do its job. So once we have removed pathogens and the biggest inflammatory processes and instigators in the body, whether that's we're starting to address heavy metals or we're starting to address detoxification pathways, food sensitivities, and pathogens, we then focus on restoring digestion, because a lot of times when you've had a chronic pathogen and we get if you're not feeling well, you have not been feeling well for a while, it's likely you've had a chronic pathogen. And we can get these from traveling, we can get these from other people, we can get these from hospital visits, or even just working in the hospital. I had a client once who was a nurse in something called a C. diff unit or clinic. And so it's all these people who had a pathogen called Clostridia difficile. And typically when doctors are treating it, the symptoms of this, of an acute stage of Clostridia difficile is huge. Like you're having explosive diarrhea. I mean, you are not going to a functional health practitioner, you're going to the ER. So it's a very intense thing. She actually had chronic low-grade C. diff. And when she learned this, she kind of looked at me and said, "How's this possible? I'm a mom at home. I don't look like all these clients who were in the C. diff clinic." Yeah, you don't, because it's chronic, it's low grade, your immune system was healthier than theirs. So it's kept it from becoming intense, but your immune system's not strong enough to completely kick it out, which has kept you and made you more and more sick, more and more nutrient deficient, and you're going to be less and less functional in your body. So once we get rid of, say, C. diff, we want to then say, what has that pathogen being present for 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, even 6 months or 3 months? What has that done to your ability to make stomach acid, bile, which is a liver and gallbladder health combo? Is your pancreas working at the level we want it to create pancreatic enzymes? If you cannot digest, you are going to massively become behind in detoxification. And I don't care how many amazing supplements you are taking, you cannot digest calcium, iron, B12, zinc, just as a handful of things if you don't have stomach acid. Low stomach acid is the number one cause of acid reflux. And acid reflux is a very common symptom that our clients are dealing with. And so if you have acid reflux, likely you have this going on. And we have lots of episodes. We actually have about 5 episodes at this point on acid reflux. I'm not going to list them here, but you can scroll back through our history and find them, and we talk more about that. We have to restore digestion. And this is something that I'm seeing is missing, especially in the conventional healthcare system, but even in these 12-week gut healing programs, where they're going to get rid of it. They'll do a stool test and get rid of a pathogen, but they never restore stomach acid production. And we want you to be able to create stomach acid on your own. There is a way that we do that. I'm not going to get into it here, but when we restore digestion, we're thinking about you being able to create your own stomach acid on your own, you being able to create your own bile to the level you need to, so you can break down fat and absorb fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin A and vitamin D. If you're low in vitamin D, you want to be thinking, is my liver functioning? Is my gallbladder functioning? Am I breaking down fat to the level I need to? It has very little to do, or a lot less to do with, am I taking a vitamin D supplement? Especially a lot of our clients are. And if it's still low, we want to be thinking, is this a digestion and fat assimilation problem? And if it is, it's not enough to merely take a enzyme to help you break down that fat, because you want to know, why am I not creating enough bile? And you want to address that. And that's what we do, so that our clients can just keep reliving the same fat digestion enzyme for the rest of their life and not really be functioning at the highest level. If you're not creating enough bile, most likely you're also not detoxing and methylating as well, because that's what your liver does. So it's all really interconnected. Restoring digestion is one of the coolest part of, I don't know why. I like, number one, removing a pathogen. That's like a given. Yeah, we're going to do that. Restoring digestion is cool because people don't realize how poorly, a lot of our clients don't realize how poorly they were digesting, other than the fact that they were bloating or all these different things. They're like, well, I knew that. I knew I was constipated. I knew I had diarrhea. I knew I didn't have good energy. I knew I was gaining weight, or always felt hungry, or never felt hungry. It really can swing in different directions for our clients. But when all this starts harmonizing together, the appetite regulates. You're either more hungry at a reasonable way, or less hungry and feel satisfied. This is a really awesome one. And we find that this section also takes about 3 months. It takes 3 months to get all the nutrient statuses you need back up to par, so that you can restore stomach acid production and bile production and pancreatic function, fat assimilation, and help start to rebuild leaky gut, your gut lining, so that your gut linings has a good healthy barrier. You really also can't repair leaky gut until a pathogen's been removed. Fun fact. So please, if you are taking supplements like L-glutamine or anything else to try and, rebuild your leaky gut, if you have never looked into removing a pathogen, it's not going to get you there, because that pathogen's working against the L-glutamine. Your body probably isn't even absorbing it super well, because it's so focused on this other pathogen that's keeping it weak and keeping it occupied. So after we restore digestion, so that 3 months for pathogen protocol and removing inflammatory toxins, 3 months for repairing digestion or restoring digestion. Next phase is balancing minerals and restoring nutrient status. And so this is a bigger part than most people realize, or honestly many health practitioners give time to or acknowledge. I find that for our clients who are struggling with, we've had insomnia, chronic pain, fibromyalgia really fits into this third stage. I'm trying to think, didn't write everything down right here. There's a lot of things that we're really seeing. Chronic fatigue really fits into this, difficulty focusing, mood instability. Thyroid function really fits into balancing minerals and restoring nutrient status. And so it's really interesting. Also, this phase does take about 3 months. And as I was writing this section down, I also realized, women are suggested to take a prenatal vitamin for 3 months prior to even getting pregnant, because doctors are finding and have found that it is helpful to have that upstart on repairing nutrient status and having full nutrient availability even prior to the moment of conception. And so felt that was a similarity that we're seeing of it taking 3 months of saying, let's do an HTMA test, hair tissue mineral analysis, and let's look at your minerals and let's get your calcium imbalanced. there's a big four of minerals that are consistently out of balance for our clients: calcium, magnesium, sodium, and potassium. And without those, you're going to have a lot of, first off, you won't be able to push any heavy metals out of your body very well. So some of our clients are aware that they want to do like a heavy metal detox, or they've tried it in the past. There's like all sorts of things that they might come in having tried to feel better. And it's, well, your big four are actually out of balance, and you took all these heavy metal binders, but you never actually got you're depleted in these four categories. And it's unrelated to how much calcium supplements you take or magnesium supplement you take. There's so much more going on to balancing minerals. And that's what we do. That's what we specialize in. For this stage. If you have an imbalance in these big four, it's going to be linked to kidney stones, especially repeated kidney stones, a constant thirst, always needing to go to the bathroom, low blood pressure, muscle cramps, constipation, fatigue, muscle weakness, painful periods, fibromyalgic-like pain. Even if you don't have fibromyalgia, that kind of joint ache, muscle ache, feeling like you constantly need a massage, feeling like your muscles are always tense. That's often, I would call, a fibromyalgic pain. Also really linked to imbalanced minerals and nutrient status, insomnia, thyroid dysfunction, the list goes on. So this is another huge one. And if you don't have a proper minerals, a lot of times you'll be digesting better, you'll have better pathogen, you won't have pathogens, but then your body's still weak and you're still set up to more likely get another pathogen, not have the energy you're looking for, not feel good the way you feel like you should. Well, I got rid of this pathogen and I'm taking digestive enzymes. Why don't I feel better? Because the body doesn't have all the nutrients it needs to work itself on its own, creating homeostasis. And the fourth stage is reduced support. This is my favorite stage because it's where we get to that Z level stuff. And reducing support does take time, because when we're say you're on a handful of food restrictions and a handful of supplements, as we're reducing them, we want to make sure we do it one at a time, so that if your body's like, no, actually, hey, I still need that thing, that we get a symptom, that we actually we take time to say, oh, when I stopped this very specific thing, or when I added this very specific food back in, I actually felt worse. And then we can know scientifically, okay, let's go back on this, rather than just quitting it all at once and saying, well, I'm done, I'm healed. And then the next day or a week later being like, oh, I don't feel so good, what happened? And so we reduce support slowly to measure everything, just make sure that we're not missing anything. The body's not giving us any signs or signals. Symptoms are one of our number one things. Some people say, well, do I need to retest? I'm like, some cases, yes, we will retest, but most often your symptoms are king. Your symptoms tell you everything. And what makes me so sad is that in a lot of conventional health situations, let alone even alternative health, sometimes symptoms are really brushed aside. They're ignored. And so we get used to not thinking that they're valid scientifically or valid as a data point. They're incredibly valid. So I love stage 4, reducing support, reducing supplements, reducing food restrictions, and seeing our clients' eyes just get big in their coaching calls where they're like, oh my gosh, like I'm actually doing less and I feel better. I feel the same and better than I did even when on these supplements, and my body, like seeing that restored confidence and like my body really can function. It's amazing. Everybody comes to us. Every single client comes to us and says, I don't have trust. I don't have faith in my body anymore. I don't know if I can trust that it can get healthy again. And it is amazing that we can say it can. And then when they experience it, the experience is totally different. And we can't have them experience that month 1. They have to make it to the 4th stage of reducing their support. So on average, each stage is taking about 3 months, and that adds up to about a year. And this is what we've based our Foundations 2022 program on. We have seen in the last year, we told our clients, hey, the minimum amount of time you can work with us is 6 months, because we were seeing some people make some really nice changes in 6 months, but actually there was more people who were needing more than 6 months. And getting back to this question of how long should it take me to heal, we want to give our clients an accurate prediction, because of the same things I said at the beginning of this episode. You want to have like practically, what do I need to have prepared for this journey? You know, what type of, how much food and water do I need to bring? What type of clothes do I need to bring? Do I need to bring hiking shoes? Like, what practically do I need for this journey? And then psychologically, what do I need to be psychologically prepared for, of the pace of recovery, of the different stages of recovery, of the ups and downs of recovery, when things aren't immediate and butterflies everywhere and magical. And that's, going back to the end motto that we have at the end of our podcast: miracles are immediate, but healing takes time. What's amazing is that it's not just, this will take 12 months and it's vague, but it's 12 months and there's specific stages we're consistently seeing people go through. And some stages are quicker for some people than others, but then they'll get to the next stage and maybe that stage takes longer. Maybe their digestion stage heals really quickly and then it takes them longer for their remineralization stage, or all those different things. And so we want to give our clients realistic news, and so they can be prepared. I was thinking some other questions like, how long will it take for me to train for my first marathon? About how much will a house that we want cost that has a certain number of rooms or is in a certain area? How long will it take me to get pregnant? These are questions that you want someone to give you a realistic answer on, even if it's discouraging, even if you're like, I didn't realize that a house that had all these features I wanted was going to cost that much. That was more than I thought. Or, I didn't realize that training for a marathon was going to take blank many months for my level of activity or my level of strength at this point in time. But now that you have the information, you can move forward. And so when your path is unclear, you don't want lies or misinformation. This only confuses and exhausts us. And so that's the healing timeline. And one thing I want to be extra clear about, and I know I already mentioned this, that this doesn't mean you don't see results in your health until the 12-month mark. It does mean that you don't get to that Z point of having those results even when you're not doing extra. Because health, the state of health, is the opposite of disease. And disease, if you break it up into its broken down words, right, it's dis-ease. It's a state of lack of ease. So health is not just, I don't have symptoms. Health is a state of ease. And that is my favorite definition of health that I wish everybody had, because I see so many people who say, I'm healthy, but then you look at their life and they're trying so hard. They have to work so hard to have the exact perfect smoothie every day and they don't have a lot of margin or capacity, that if something gets bumped or nudged, that they don't feel good. And that's not the nature of health. Health has margin. Health is natural. Health is easeful. And that's not me being cute or hopeful or wishful. That's actually the nature of health. It's a state of ease. And the state of lack of health is a state of dis-ease. That is my favorite definition. And feel free to use it yourself if you are inspired. One last thing I want to say on the health journey, on why 12 months, because I think people are just sometimes generally like, you've never heard this before. So maybe you're listening to this and you have all these questions going on. And as I've been talking with our clients, why 12 months? And if an antibiotic, for example, takes 1 week, 2 weeks, I mean, it kind of depends on what you're trying to kill and how long you've been prescribed for. If an antibiotic takes 1 or 2 weeks, how did we get from an antibiotic being really, really quick, and then on the opposite side of the spectrum, a doctor saying you're never going to get better, and now we're somewhere in the middle of 12 months. If you have any question left, think about it this way. This is my favorite analogy that I've thought of. If you have a house that's on fire, right? That fire is the pathogen in the body and the toxins in the body, the food sensitivities, all the things making all the cells in the immune system break down and be inflamed and have elevated immune response and all this stuff going on. Everything's on fire. Your brain's on fire. Your belly's on fire. Nothing feels good. Okay, goal number 1, get the fire out. Now, ideally, the fire is going to be out in less than 24 hours. If it's not, there might not be a lot of house left to save. It depends on maybe the nature of the fire and all that jazz. But the actual putting out the fire is rather quick. By all means, put off the fire. Everything is and will be better when the fire's out. But what's not being addressed, if the fire is just the initial removal of the pathogen or the initial removal of all the inflammation and toxins in the body, what is not being discussed by conventional healthcare for sure, let alone I'd say many other functional health doctors or alternative health practices, is that after you get rid of the pathogen and after you quote unquote put out the fire, you then have to deal with fire damage. And the fire damage is the melted electrical wires, the burnt up walls that need to have new drywall put on them, the smoke, tarred ceilings and floors, anything damaged in the kitchen. I've never gone through a house fire myself, but I'm familiar a little bit with the renovation from some other friends that I've had go through this, and the house renovation and the house repair and the fire damage repair after the fire's put out, it goes from putting out the fire takes less than 24 hours ideally. Repairing the house can take months or years, weeks, months, and years to put in new carpet, put new walls up, get the insurance to go through, pay for everything. It is an entire process, and that's one of the reasons that house fire is so grieving. Is the repair. And I think that to have a healthy mindset and realization of, if I'm going to work with a health practitioner to help heal my gut and my hormones and my skin, and all these things are completely possible, is it realistic that I think we're going to do in 3 months or in 40 days or with a juice cleanse? If something really is going on and I don't feel good regularly and there's a lot of stuff going on and I feel like I'm doing everything right, but I still don't feel good, all of those are glaring signs of the body saying there's a fire going on in us. We need to put the fire out and take intentional time to really restore the house. Now, once the house is restored and you've put the walls up and you've dealt with all the smell of the smoke and there's new electrical wiring, it's a functional house again. And if you did it all right and you didn't skimp on certain things like, let's, be cheap on the wiring or cheap on the this or that, if all that is worked out well, then there'll be people who, you can sell the house, you can do all sorts of stuff. People may never know there was a fire in there and it's fully functional again. It can regulate its own temperature, the heating ducts, the AC, everything works, right? And so that's the same with our bodies. If you go through the steps and say, well, we put out the fire, that's phase 1, the pathogens and inflammatory toxins, and then we put the electrical wiring back in and put the walls back in and we painted the rooms and we dealt with the smoke, all those different things, then you're after you're done with that process, you're left with the body that's in homeostasis, that doesn't need constant repair, that isn't an eyesore, all those things. So that's my analogy. House fire damage, 2 different things to put one out, and actually the second thing to rehab so that the house or aka your body is fully functional again. So now I want to tell you guys a little bit more about the Foundations 2022 offer, because I'm very excited about it. It is so exciting for me to see everything that we've learned from the past 2 years with all of our clients, and to be applying it in a practical way, both like time expectations, but also just creating as much support for our clients as possible. So we are constantly upgrading and shifting and learning what do people need, what's the most helpful, what makes the path the easiest, how can they feel supported and guided. Like, you want a good Gandalf to your health journey, right? At least I know I want one, or 1-in-1. And so here's what is included in the Foundations 22 offer. This is what it looks like in the year 2022. So you get 12 one-to-one coaching calls with an expert FDN coach, FDN being functional diagnostic nutrition. That's what I do. We've actually hired a new coach. I'm very, very excited for her to begin. And so you get monthly calls with her where you're able to, she's using the Better Belly framework, making sure that you're on your on the right pathway, that everything's working in your customized health plan, that you're getting your answers question, and you're getting that one-to-one touch point of, hey, I've got questions. And it's not, these random doctor appointments, and they're not regular and they're not consistent, but we're coming to you virtually doing these coaching calls once a month, one-to-one, just you and your coach. You get our 4 foundational labs to get you all the information that you need for us to create a holistic, what I like to call cut the crap health protocol. Basically, like let's not miss anything. Let's not go to repair your house and forget to put in new electrical wiring and then put up new walls and then be like, oh, we have to tear your walls down because we didn't put in the electrical wiring. Let's get every step in there so that when you're done with this, you actually feel better. And so we create that complete holistic health protocol so we don't miss a single thing in your health as we're putting your health back together. You get a customized health plan based on your health history, your lab results, and your health goals. You're not just a piece of paper. It's not just the lab. It's not just your symptoms. It's combining everything together, reading between the lines, looking for things that are not explicitly said in the lab, or at least that honestly, we find that people will come to us after seeing a functional doctor or an integrative doctor. And I say, hey, did your, MD, DO, functional, whatever, tell you about talk to you about why your alkaline phosphatase is low or this thing or that thing? And they're like, no. So we're consistently finding stuff in lab results, in health history and health goals to help you get the results that you want. You get 12 monthly group training calls. So every second Thursday, we have a group training call where I'm actually leading a training on everything from mindset to how to do, add in or remove food restrictions and all these practical skills so that you understand all the things going on in your body, your hormones, how sugar works, all these different things we'll be covering in these group training calls, and even just having engagement, seeing the other women who are in this program working with you and learning. This is recorded, so if you can't make it, it's uploaded to your Better Belly Healing Library, which is this online resource that we have in your client portal where you can go and watch videos and download worksheets and have that support between your calls if you have questions about what's detoxification and die-off and how do I minimize die-off symptoms or detoxing symptoms where I might feel worse even though I'm doing something good. We cover all these things. You also get a monthly laser coaching call for 12 months. This is every 4th Thursday. This is hosted by me or our expert FDN coach. You get to ask one question that you have to me or the coach who's leading this. It's basically a bonus coaching call. You also get to listen to the other questions that the other women have, and that is really fascinating because sometimes someone has a question that they're either a little bit ahead of you in their healing journey and you're like, oh, that's a great question, or they've asked it and it's something you've thought about but just hadn't thought to ask on the call. Really just a phenomenal time to hear what other people are thinking about and have that group learning experience, and also just being a little bit less alone of like, hey, there's other people going through this. I'm not crazy. Oh, wow, she's got, fibromyalgia like me too, or she's gone through this thing in the past, and really supporting each other along the way. These are also recorded and uploaded to your Better Belly Healing Library. You get unlimited lab reordering, new lab analysis, and updated protocols to meet you where your needs are. So if you want to reorder a lab, or if we're recommending a new lab so that we can get more nuanced information on your specific body, there's no extra charge or extra fee to us. It's just paying the cost of the lab. And you get an updated protocol with that to reflect any changes that you need to make so that you can have the quickest, deepest results in your health without missing a beat. You get 10% off all of your supplement orders. You get access to the Better Belly Healing Library and all the wealth of videos and worksheets and downloads that we have in that healing library. You have a members only Facebook group where you get support from the Better Belly team admin, our FDN coach, and one another. And lastly, but not leastly, very excited for this, we are including Blood Lab Bootcamp for all of our 12-month Foundations 2022 members because we want you to be able to read your own labs. And so that is just an extra bonus thing we are throwing in, no extra costs, so that as you're going through this process, you become the expert. You become someone who you can read your blood labs for the rest of your life. You have increased confidence. We don't want to be your, end all be all. You have to rely on us the rest of your life. We want you to be in the driver's seat, you to have the expertise, you to be your own hero in this journey. Some benefits from the Foundation's 2022 program is stop fearing food. You don't have to wonder, is this food hurting me? Is this helping me? What food should I be eating? You can cut your number of food restrictions in half. Like a lot of our clients who are coming in with low FODMAP, elemental diet, all these things, they're able to eat onions again. They're able to eat oats again. They're able to eat whatever it is that they couldn't eat before again. I mean, it's just really phenomenal. We're seeing our clients be social again, being able to have either energy or just the kind of pain-free state to spend time with children, grandchildren, friends, loved one, even just spouses without losing your energy or having to silently deal with pain while you're with them. We are, seeing our clients not be waylaid by their monthly cycles of like, it was so painful, I had to stay in bed all day, or even just ovulation. So worked with clients with endometriosis. We work with clients with, ulcerative colitis. I'm thinking, interstitial cystitis, seeing, this irritated bladder where you either feel like you constantly have a UTI or it's painful to pee or you always have to pee, that going down. These are all interconnected. We're working with autoimmune disorders, all these things that people have said you will never get better or you should never get better. And our clients are, and it's so, so, so exciting. So a couple frequently asked questions to end out and round out this podcast episode. Number one, will you work with anyone less than 12 months? No. So as discussed earlier in this program, our goal is to bring you from point A to Z in your healing journey. And gut health is a long journey. It's not from Chicago to Miami, which is long enough on its own, but it's more like going from Chicago to Cape Town, South Africa. And if you've never done it, it's about 24 hours of plane flights at minimum, because you have to get from Chicago to usually Europe, and then from Europe all the way down to the southern tip of the south of the equator. I mean, it's a huge trip. It's a much longer trip. And if you were to go to a travel agency and say, hey, I want to get to Cape Town, South Africa, but in one half the time, that travel agency should be like, yeah, you can't get to South Africa in 12 hours. It's not possible. And so it'd be important for that travel agency to say, no, we can't do that, because they would be setting up your expectations falsely to say yes and only get you to Rome or Nairobi, Egypt or something. So if you are having a hard time imagining doing a healing program for 12 months, then I'd have you ask yourself, is your goal really to get to the proverbial Cape Town, South Africa in your health? If you want a shorter program that only works on pathogens or only works on digestion or nutrient status, do you realize and do you understand that that's not a shortcut to Cape Town? That's just not getting to Cape Town at all. And I don't mean that to be discouraging or disrupting, but saying we are consistently finding our clients have spent thousands of dollars on other programs that did not get them to where they wanted. And they're still, bless them. Like, they're still committed to getting better. They are committed and they want to get better. However, they know that they've taken time and money and effort and not gotten where they wanted. And that's our goal in Foundation's 2022 program, that's not what our clients are reliving. That's not what, if maybe it's your first time doing that journey, that's not what you get to experience, that you experience, yes, I can heal. Yes, this is possible. Other questions. How do I know if the Foundation's 2022 program is right for me? I've gone over this a little bit in this podcast episode, but if you are someone who's tried a million food diets, you've gone on all the food restrictions, you do all the quote unquote right things, with the exercise and sleep hygiene and boundaries, and you pray and you meditate and you do all these things that it's like, well, I'm trying to help, my fight and flight response and my vagus nerve, and I breathe and I'm not feeling better in my gut and in my hormones and in my body. This program is for you. If you have gut health problems that have not been resolved by all the things that quote unquote should have worked, this program is right for you. How do I know if I'll get results from the Foundation's 2022 program? Number one, we have all of our clients. We have a whole host of testimonials that we have coming out. We have one that just came out a couple weeks ago from this podcast episode. I'm going to have my assistant just put in a handful of our testimonials that we have in our podcast. So it's just worked for other people. We're not like randomly throwing stuff out there. And I know that there can be a lot of suspicion in health and like, I don't know, people just selling stuff really like hype and then I don't know, you thinking this will work and then it doesn't work. That is disappointing. We do see that. Like we realize that that's clients that we're working with. So number one, our clients themselves are getting work done, and number two, we don't admit anyone into our program we don't think we can help. So we are actually being selective. We're not just like, hey, you want to give us money or you want to join? Great. We have questions. We have, like for you to join the Foundations 2022 program, you have to get on a qualifying call. That's not a joke. Like we are qualifying you that you are a good fit for the program as far as your symptoms, your health goals, what you've tried, what you've done. We're not working with clients who, are just like, well, I just want someone to help me go gluten-free. We are working much, much, much deeper than that. And maybe we will encourage you to go gluten-free if we find something on a lab test, but we're not focusing or specializing in just accountability to keep you gluten-free or whatever. It's actually finding things that are healing you so that it's easier for you to cut your sugar addiction. Like if you have sugar cravings, we don't ever hammer our clients on their sugar cravings. We help them heal their microbiome, and that actually cuts out their sugar cravings. There's no willpower necessary. And so you will get results. Just listen to our client testimonials, podcasts, plenty there. And then we also have, just know that we are qualifying you. Like we're looking for things of saying, yep, you got all the gut stuff, you got all the hormone stuff. These are the symptoms we deal with, the acid reflux, this all points that we can help you. So we don't admit just anyone into the program. So let me ask you some questions before we end this podcast episode for you to be thinking about moving forward. One, are you ready to completely revamp your health in a way that you've never been able to do before? Now, if you're not, fine. Like tell that to yourself. I'm not ready. This is not a good season for me to do this in. I've got other things going on, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. Keep listening to our podcast, keep listening to other resources, learn about healing your body. But just know that if you are not joining the program now, it's not because you don't have to say, oh, the program's scary or expensive or it won't work. It's just, oh, this is not a good time for me to do this. However, if you say, yes, now I do want to completely revamp my health in a way that I've never done before, then I would strongly recommend this is going to be the program for you. And please join us. Jump on a qualifying call and join our program. We would love to have you in here. Number two, are you ready to have a team of health coaches and practitioners supporting you each month as you heal? Better Belly Therapies, we are a team. We're not just a single provider. You hear my voice on here, but we have a team of our support admin where they're answering your questions over email, making sure you're scheduled right. They're organizing our Facebook group and engaging with people there. We have our FDN coach. If you're local to us, if you're listening to this podcast and you're local to Ann Arbor, Michigan, we have our manual therapists in our office doing craniosacral therapy and visceral manipulation, where we're creating this team of people working with the same framework, with the same goals and expectations, and we're all communicating with each other. And that creates a better, more well-rounded experience where you're able to get lots of people looking, lots of eyes on your body, lots of support emotionally or practically, kind of scientifically, either way. So if you're ready to have a team of people working for you and not just working one-to-one with somebody, then this is the program for you. Are you ready to stop the 12-week quick fixes and really dig into your health to remove invisible pathogens and toxins, rebuild your gut, balance your mineral nutrient status, and just begin feeling good like every day? Because that's what our clients are going through. Then if so, the Foundations 2022 program is for you. And I do mean very literally, I literally made it for you. I made this program because it doesn't exist anywhere else, because it's what I wanted for my health, because it's what is working for our clients, and it's because it should exist. I made it for you if you have all of these things going on in your health. Of you've tried all the diets, you're doing everything you know should work, you're still on the low FODMAP, or you don't know what food's going to make you feel better, and you don't know where to turn next, then this program is for you. All right. Well, I hope that this episode was helpful for you in just thinking about what does a healing pathway look like? How long does it take? What are the different phases and stages? And even thinking, why have I not gotten to this place yet? Is there a certain phase that I talked about that you just haven't done yet? And you're like, oh, that makes sense. I've never heard anyone talk about that phase before, about those problems that people can go through before. Then I would encourage you, join the Foundations 2022 program. Apply for it. You can apply for it by going to the link in our show notes for the qualifying call for the Foundations program. So go down to the show notes, click on the link, qualifying call, apply for the qualifying call for the Foundations program. If you are a good fit for our program, we will confirm your appointment request and you will talk with one of our coaches so that you can start the program ASAP. We would love, love, love to see you in there. And we cannot wait for you to see your health in a totally different place than it ever has been before, in a better place that you even thought was possible. And as just with our normal end of show notes, if you love this episode, we have so much more coming down the line. Subscribe so you never miss a beat. And if you thought of someone while you were listening to this episode, I encourage you, take a screenshot, share it with a friend. This means so much to people to have this information. And I cannot count how many times when I tell someone I'm a gut health therapist, they say, oh, I know someone who needs you. So send that friend a love note to their gut and do us a favor and pass this podcast along to them. Other ways you can support us is by leaving a rating and review on our Apple iTunes podcast. More and more of you guys are doing that, so thank you so much. It is a great way for other people to find this podcast as well and enjoy the gut healing goodness found in it. Other ways you can stay in the conversation is by following us on Instagram and Facebook at Better Belly Therapies. I love connecting with our listeners there, and I would love to see you in there. And to end our podcast episode, our motto: miracles are immediate, but healing takes time. See you guys next week.